Welcome everyone, and thanks for playing the Grand National Novice Pairs. Hope you had a fabulous time. I'm Peter Hollands, and today I'm actually joined by Bill Jacobs. He's an Australian Open player. He has represented the Victorian Open countless times. He's even a published bridge author. So welcome, Bill.
Hi, Pete. Good to be here.
So today what we're actually going to do is just pick out a few boards that we're really interested in and sort of deep dive into those. But we have gone through all the boards, and you can check that out in another video if you like. Anyway, let's get straight into board number 2. I think this one's a pretty interesting one. A lot of shape on this. East is close to an opening, but is just a bit short, so it'd pass. And South has a fantastic hand with 11 red cards, not many points. Would you be doing anything with the South hand?
No, I can't think of anything clever. That's the problem.
Yeah. So there's definitely one where I'd be passing, and you could be passing throughout, but that you might get an opportunity later to show some sort of distributional hand. But West gets to open one club with their balanced 12 count, and North here has another really awkward problem. Their favourite suit is clubs. The opponents have opened your longest suit. So when your opponents open your longest suit, quite often you want to pass. Often people will play one club, two clubs as a Michael's bid showing both majors. So there's no easy alternative if that's the case. So what do you reckon, Bill?
Yes, I totally agree. I think your plan as North is you've got to pass over one club, and then you're thinking, if I get a chance, I'll bid clubs myself, and then partner might get the idea that because I passed over one club, my subsequent club bid must be natural. So that I think is the North plan.
Yeah, so if the opponents open the suit that you want to bid, you usually start with pass. You might get a chance to bid that suit later as a natural way. But a typical auction here I'd say is pass, pass, West opens a club, North would pass, and East has 4 spades and 5 diamonds. I would be bidding a diamond, but some partnerships do prefer bidding a spade. I think this is a partnership style. Where do you lie on this front?
Well, what I've taught Peter is that if you don't have a very strong hand, maybe go for the major rather than one diamond, and just do it in one go. Try for the major suit contract and don't worry about the minor. And you'll play either in a major suit fit or maybe a no trump contract. But if you've got a stronger hand, bid the minor, bid the one diamond, and then maybe you can bid spades later. I don't know if that's the best approach. I wouldn't have a lot of complaints about either a one diamond bid or a one spade bid.
Yeah, I agree. My general preference is to bid the major here. The breakpoint I typically use is, am I a game-forcing responder? So if you gave East another king, I would be bidding one diamond, because that's where I think it's strong enough to show your minor, bidding your longest suit, and show your major later. But if you bid a spade, South will probably pass again, and West would raise to 2 spades. North is still in a bit of a predicament. The opponents are now bid your 2 longest suits, so I'm not sure I would be that enthused to be trying to bid here, especially vulnerable. So I think it would be...
I would bid, because I reckon my partner's got a singles and spade. If that's gone 1 spade, 2 spades.
Yep.
So it shows how much I know, but I would be thinking, well, my partner's probably got some clubs and can trump some spades. So I would come in with 3 clubs here. I think I might regret it.
Yeah, it's definitely reasonable. So I think 3 clubs would be fine there. It is also it's strange that your partner hasn't been bidding and the opponents are bidding your suits. So I think that's fine. If it does go 3 clubs, that might be where the auction ends. I don't think either East or West has anything they would really want to be doing over that.
No. That's an interesting hand, because I suspect I think a lot of people are going to be going down on board 2. But that's certainly an interesting hand.
What do you reckon board 5 should go?
Well, board 5's an interesting one. So East is going to start with a 16.1 no trump. And I think South has got a good hand, but with 16 or 15 to 17 or 16 to 18 on their right, I think, and your side being vulnerable, north-south, I think south should probably just pass. West has a decent 8-point hand, so he would unleash Stamen because he's got 4 hearts. East would have bid 2 hearts. Normally, if you've got both 4-card majors and partner Stamens, you respond with a low one. You bid the suits up the line. So one there trump, 2 clubs, 2 hearts, and then I think 3 hearts from West is worth inviting game. It's a pretty good hand with the 2 aces. And that leaves the decision with East. And let's just say it's a 15 to 17-point one no trump. And East has the hand in the middle, 16 points. So now you've got to decide, is this a good 16-point hand or a bad 16-point hand? I personally, Peter, what are you going to go? I've got an opinion.
I'm not convinced this is a good one. I'm not a big fan of the queen double turn, lots of queens and all that. But I tend to accept invites pretty aggressively with 16. So if I'm in the middle, I would go, but I'm not convinced.
That's good. So Peter goes, I pass. I'm with the first thing where those side suits with all the queens don't impress me. So I would pass 3 hearts, but it's a very borderline game and it's got an interesting piece of defence in there. So imagine you're south, you've been sitting there quietly and the opponents have bid to 3 hearts or maybe 4 hearts and you're on lead. So you start, I imagine, with a top spade. You've got the ace, king of spades, doubleton, so that's a very nice opening lead. And you play the ace of spades and you play the king of spades and nothing much happens there. And now you've got to decide what suit to play next. And it seems to me, if you're in this situation, you can see that your partner's not going to have anything much because you've got 14 points and dummy you can see with 8 points, so that's 22, and give East 15, 16, 17 points. Let's give them 16 points, just give them the one in the middle, just for argument's sake. So that's 22, 38. So your partner's got at most 2 points. So this trick of counting the points to try and work out what your partner's got is very useful. And if you do that here, you'll see that playing a minor suit at this point away from one of those kings is extremely dangerous because it's very likely to run up to declare as queen. So after cashing the ace, king of spades, you should absolutely switch to a little heart, the suit where you're not going to give anything away, and then see what happens from there. But it is definitely worth remembering that often you can, even though your partner has passed throughout, you can often get a good idea of the strength of their hand by working out what declarer, who has bid, is likely to have. You can see what you have, you can see what dummy has. You can do a bit of subtraction and work out what partner has.
Yeah, that's a fabulous point. It is really, really valuable when the declarer has bid no trumps because they give definitive ranges. Yeah. Like, you know, it is 15 to 17, for example. And if they have an invitational auction, they've even narrowed that down even more for that, to have partners range between 1 or 2 points. So try and build the habit that if you see declarer bid no trumps, think, ooh, I should count high card points. Can really help you out.
It's got one of these rule of 20 type openings. It's not as attractive, this one with the minors, but let's say South opens 1 club and West, who only has 7 points but has an excellent spade suit, ace, queen, jack, 10, 9, overcalls 1 spade. And then, look, your guess is as good as mine on what North should do here. But I think if South opens 1 club, then North should be thinking about slam. And frankly, because it's a match point duplicate that we're playing, your slam that you're going to bid is going to be in hearts. There are many ways this could go, but I wouldn't have any objection whatsoever to the auction, one club by south, one spade by west, 6 hearts by north. Sometimes you just can't find out what's going on. You've got to go with your gut. And my gut here says that his partner can open one club, so he's probably got something in clubs. And there's no use using Blackwood here because of your void in diamonds. So whatever ace his partner shows you, you don't know if it's in this useless ace of diamonds. But there are many different ways it could go. And the very funny thing about this is that if it does go like that, and we can talk about this more, I'm sure Peter will have something to say. If you do play 6 hearts from the north side, that comes around the west. I know it's a novice pairs, but west here can think, I can beat this contract. All I need is for partner to lead a club for me. I'll trump it, and then I'll cash my ace of spades. I hope. So this is a situation where West could make what's called a Leitner double of 6 hearts, saying, partner, I want you to make an unusual lead, typically of any suit, side suit that the opponents have shown, because I'm going to trump it. So if South had opened one club and they got to 6 hearts by North, I would make a Leitner double, and partner will need to lead dummy suit, a club, and I will trump it and cash my ace of spades. And if that happens, you should really contact Real Deal Bridge, because that should be written up, because the fact is that East has an ace of their own and would be sorely tempted to lead it. And if they lead it, it'll get trumped, and declarer will take the rest. They'll make an over trick. So it's one interesting hand, that one. Anything could happen, but it's these hands with things like a 7-5-1 hand. These hands are basically guesswork. So you shouldn't feel bad if you got some horrible result. It's one big enormous guess.
Yeah.
So how would you guess it, Peter?
So I actually think your auction's ideal. A club, a spade, 6 hearts. A few important things here. Often people are very worried about bidding slam when they can't investigate. They feel like they have to use their scientific tools. Yeah. But there's no scientific tools of Blackwood or anything that'll give you any useful information whatsoever. So a lot of players, when they can't use the tools effectively, just go, okay, I guess I have to stop in game. That's definitely not the case. You can just use your judgment and bid slam. There's no rule saying you have to use 4 no trumps to get to slam. 4 no trumps is a way for checking in slam good. This check won't work on this hand, so use your judgment about what you actually think you should do. And if partner's got even just the ace king of clubs, ace of spades, even just the ace and jack of clubs, and you might be on a finesse, there's very little you need to be making slam here. So I think bidding 6 hearts is great. And I don't think there's any way that if partner had the ideal cards, you could find out if 7 was on. So I can't see any way I'm going to want to stop below it, or any way I want to go more. So why mess around? I'll just go ahead and bid it. And yeah, I think West should double if you've got the partnership agreement of Leitner doubles, which is worthwhile looking at and learning about if you don't know. But basically the idea is that using a double against a slam to say, partner, I need you to find the right lead to beat this because I can trump something. I want an unusual lead. The unusual lead you usually want is what the opponents have bid. So very fascinating hand there. Moving on, number 17. North has 6 high card points and 6 card heart suit. I'd be opening 2 hearts with this hand. And that gives East a real predicament of what they actually want to do. So I've got a few choices here. They've got 15 points. They really should be bidding on this hand. Their 3 reasonable choices are 2 no trumps, double, and 3 clubs. 2 no trumps is sort of equivalent to a strong no trump, but a wider range. Can be 15, might be up to maybe 19, usually in the sort of 16, 18 range. 3 clubs shows a 5-card suit and overcall, and double shows a shortage and the other 3 suits. I could be convinced on all 3. I'm not that sold on 2 no trumps. What are your thoughts?
I don't like 2 no trumps because the heart holding is not right for it, the doubles and heart. So I won't be able to hold up the suit. So I think it's between 3 clubs and the takeout double. I would probably make the takeout double myself.
Yeah. Usually in the do I overcall or do I double, if my 5-card suit's a minor, I tend to prefer a takeout double. And if my 5-card suit's a major, I would generally overcall the suit. The double does not guarantee 4 spades, so that shouldn't make you shy away from it. So I think double is the best choice, but I wouldn't criticize anyone for a 3-club bid. And I think 2 no trumps isn't far away, but ace doubleton, really important point Bill mentioned, is you can't hold that up for a stopper. One of the beautiful plays you want to do in no trumps is a hold up play, to hold up your ace so that the opponents can't communicate between their hands. Ace doubleton isn't usually good enough to do that. So I'd double. South would pass, and now West has a really awkward problem. What would you do in response to a double?
Yeah, I've been looking at it, and whilst it's nice when you can see the hand record and know that partner's got the ace of hearts with you, I truly think the correct bid here is to bid 3 no trumps over the takeout double, even though the stopper is shaky, and you could look a 4 with this. If partner's ace of hearts is elsewhere, although there's not a lot of elsewhere for it to be, but suppose it is elsewhere and they actually have a low doubleton heart, they lead a low heart from the north hand and South wins with the king or the ace, plays one back and they run off the entire suit against you, and you go 2 down, and there your stopper just hasn't come up. It hasn't turned into a stopper. But in all the other scenarios where partner has a heart honour, and even the Jack doubleton would be enough, or North, who's open, could have ace king of hearts, so your queen of hearts is protected from the lead. All those other scenarios, 3 no trumps is going to work out because you've got the running diamonds and you've got lots and lots and lots of points. So this is a situation where I think you have to take a calculated risk because there's not really any other sensible bid you can make that leaves the option open for 3 no trumps other than perhaps Q-bidding 3 hearts. Will just get you into the mire. So I would bid 3 no trumps in real life, and it would work. What do you think, Pete? What would you do?
I think 3 no trumps is entirely sensible. If your other choices are like bidding 5 diamonds, you might just lose 2 hearts and something else. You could, if you bid something strange like 3 hearts, that might work, but that passes the problem off to partner, which might not get to a good spot anyway. I think bidding 3 no trumps is a really practical bid.
Board 22, East opens 1 spade, the higher of 2 5-card suits. That's a pretty important rule, particularly when the suits are adjacent. So open spades, planning to bid hearts, rather than opening hearts and planning to bid spades. So 1 spade pass. Now this is a similar situation to what we discussed before, where West has 13 points and spade support, pretty much enough for game. And a simple way to do this is with this delayed game raise gadget, to bid a suit and then essentially bid game in partner's suit on your next bid. So here your plan would be 1 spade, pass, 2 clubs, pass, 2 hearts, the second suit, pass, and then West could either bid 3 spades or 4 spades. Perhaps three spades is a better bid here because it's a jump bid after you've already shown a 2/1 strength, 10 or more points. So in this auction, you are actually forced into game. So just reviewing that, it's gone one spade, two clubs, two hearts, and then a jump to three spades, saying, partner, we've got a 5-3 spade fit, we've got enough for game, and I've also got some sort of clubs on the side. At this point, East would be kind of interested. East has got a pretty good hand with the 17 high card points in the good shape. So I think here that if partner shows interest in or enough for game, then I think East should move towards the slam. And there are a number of ways to do that. I think East is a little worried about losing the ace king of diamonds. So in a situation where, once again, a blackwood bid does not really cut it. I mean, if partner doesn't have an ace, which they may not, and which in fact they don't, it's not really going to help you decide whether there's a slam here. So one way to go about this would be to bid 4 clubs. A lot of people would play that as a Gerber bid, but if you happen to play it as a Q bid, showing something in clubs, control in clubs, that may get you to a slam. Or you could just bid 5 spades, inviting a slam. But either way, any way you cut it, East should be thinking about slam. I don't know how many people are going to get to this slam. It's a very good contract. But I think perhaps we should focus on the earlier option, Peter, where it's gone 1 spade, 2 clubs, 2 hearts, 3 spades. That at least sets up a position where you might be able to go for a slam.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's a great start to the auction. It's important to note here that when West subsequently jumps to 3 spades in this auction, they're no longer at that 10-point range. They have to be a bit stronger. So if you've got 13 points as the responder and your partner's opened, you have enough points for game. So there is no circumstance where partner should be passing this 3 spade bid. In fact, it just leaves room for partner to investigate slam, and it's really important. The East hand probably should investigate slam in some fashion. It depends on your methodology here. I just want to put my 2 cents out that I'm a big fan of Q bidding or being able to show first and second round controls. I think that's probably the easiest way to do that if you have that in your kit bag. If you don't play it, I wouldn't worry about it. But, you know, just if you ever come around to thinking, oh, should we do it? It's got my tick of approval.
Yes, and mine. And, you know, you can use this hand as a poster child because it goes 4 clubs Q bid. And now West, who's got control of the diamonds with the king, bids 4 diamonds, saying I've got either the ace or the king or a singleton or a void. I can control at least the second round of the suit. And that's exactly what East needs to know. And now East can more confidently progress towards slam. Any other method, it's less certain.